Hi, I'm Pamela Salzman. Today I'm going to show you how to roast beets. So I like to purchase my beets with the tops on. To me, it's an indication of how fresh the beets are. When the greens look like this, I think that the beets are super healthy and they've been picked very recently. I also happen to love beet greens and they are incredibly nutritious. So when you go to the market and you buy your beets, do not allow the market to take the greens off for you because you should take them home. To me, they taste exactly like Swiss chard, and that's how I use them. I just kind of saute them up like Swiss chard. But when you want to cook beets, you have to separate the greens from the actual beet root. So what I do is just kind of trim pretty close to the top of the beet, just like this, and then you can store your greens. I usually wash them ahead of time, dry them, and store them in a bag in the refrigerator for 4 or 5 days. These have already been scrubbed clean, and I like to roast them in a Pyrex or a pie plate, something like that, a baking dish, with a little bit of water. And then what I do is I cover the beets with a piece of foil, or cover the whole baking dish rather, with a piece of foil. And then these beets probably would cook for about 50 minutes. But if your beets are really enormous, you might need 60 to even 75 minutes. If they're small, you can obviously get away with less time, 40 or 45 minutes. So this is really the only prep involved. They just take a long time to cook, but otherwise they're quite easy. So just tightly cover this with foil so that all the steam stays inside, that your beets cook really well. And then I'm going to put this inside the oven at 400 degrees, and I'll just time it for about 50 minutes. You can also do this inside your toaster oven if your toaster oven is wide enough to fit like an 8x8 glass baking dish. Otherwise, we'll just pop it in the oven. And then 50 minutes later, we will poke them just to make sure they're tender, and then they'll be ready to go. Okay. Beets are ready to get pulled out of the oven. And once these have cooled off a bit, I'm going to pull the foil off and we're going to test them just to make sure they're nice and tender, and then we're going to peel them. And then you can see the skins just slip off so easily. You literally just have to kind of push them off with your fingers, like so. And these are now ready to use. So you can slice them like this. You can dice them into chunks. You can eat them warm, you can eat them room temperature, you can eat them cold. But these are now ready to go, and they're very, very good for you. They're good for building the blood. They have a lot of antioxidants and minerals, and the beet greens are really rich in calcium. They have tons of vitamin K and phosphorus, all around a very good food. The greens have a few or fewer calories than the actual beets themselves. By a cup, I think these have about 75 calories, and a cup of beet greens is probably closer to about 30, 35. But overall, it's both wonderful foods. Enjoy.